It was supposed to be just a weekend getaway, a simple family trip to reconnect and unwind. Nothing fancy, just the four of us. Me, Jessica, my husband Tom, our teenage daughter Emily, and our 10-year-old son Ethan. We'd booked a cabin in the Smoky Mountains, thinking the fresh air and natural beauty would do us good. Life had been hectic. Tom had been working long hours at the firm. I was juggling freelance projects and parenting, and the kids had their own share of stress with school and social drama. The drive up was long, about 6 hours from our home in Atlanta, but we didn't mind. Tom took the wheel, as he always did, and I kept him company up front while the kids were glued to their tablets in the back. We listened to old rock playlists, laughed over silly roadside signs, and stopped for burgers. At a small-town diner, for once everyone seemed relaxed. That in itself felt like a win. The cabin was just as cozy as it looked online, maybe even more. Nestled deep in the woods with a wraparound porch, a fireplace, and a bubbling hot tub in the back. It was the perfect mix of rustic and modern, and I immediately fell in love with the peace that surrounded it. No cars, no neighbors, just trees and the sound of birds. The first night passed uneventfully. We played board games, grilled burgers, and roasted marshmallows over fire pit. Emily even put her phone down for a full hour, which was practically a miracle. Ethan found a walking stick and declared himself the protector of the family, swinging it dramatically every time he heard a rustle in the woods. But then, on the second day, things started to shift. It began with Emily. She had gone for a short walk just before sunset, wanting to get a few nature photos for her Instagram. Back pale, shaken, and quiet. When I asked what happened, she shrugged it off and said she thought she saw a bear in the distance. That made sense. It was bear country after all. But something about her tone didn't sit right with me. It wasn't fear. It was confusion, maybe even unease. That night, Tom went out to lock the car and came back inside frowning. Did anyone move? My wallet, he asked. No one had, left in the cup holder. But it's not there, he said, checking his coat and bag again. The doors were unlocked when I got there, too. We searched the cabin from top to bottom. Nothing. No wallet. We figured maybe Tom had dropped it earlier or someone had come through during the day while we were out hiking. Still, it felt unlikely. We were deep in the woods, miles from the nearest town. No one just passes by a place like this. Third day, I started noticing little things that didn't add up. My makeup bag was unzipped, even though I always kept it closed. A towel we hadn't used was wet in the bathroom. Emily complained that her phone battery was draining abnormally fast, even though she hadn't been using it. Ethan woke up, saying he heard footsteps on the deck during the night. I tried to reassure everyone and myself that it was just our imaginations. New environment, lots of trees and noises, probably animals or weather causing the disturbances. That happened. It was around 2:00 a.m. I was lying in bed, half asleep, when I heard a soft thump from the living room. At first I thought it was Ethan going to get water, but then I heard footsteps, slow, careful, and not light enough to be a child's. My heart started pounding. I shook Tom awake and whispered that someone might be in the house, grabbed a flashlight and crept out into the hallway. I stayed behind with my phone clutched in my hand, ready to dial 911. A few minutes passed. Then Tom returned pale and wide-eyed. "There's no one out there," he said, but the front door was wide open. That's when panic really set in. We packed up and left the cabin before sunrise. No breakfast, no cleanup, just threw our stuff into bags and got in the car. As we pulled out of the gravel driveway, I noticed something scrolled on the window of the cabin, written in the condensation. On the glass were the words, "See you next time." No one had been in the cabin but us, or at least we thought no one had. The drive back was completely silent. No music, no jokes. Even Ethan seemed subdued. We got home safely, but the trip haunted us. A few days later, Tom received an alert that his credit card had been used at a gas station 2 towns over from the cabin. When police reviewed the footage, the man using the card had his face covered, but he was wearing Tom's jacket. Weeks passed. We tried to get back to normal life, but we couldn't shake the feeling that someone had been watching us, maybe even living near us in the woods. The idea that they had come so close, entered our cabin, stolen from us, watched us, was chilling. Then came the final twist. One afternoon, Emily came home from school looking freaked out. She told me a new Instagram account had followed her, one with no profile picture, no followers, and a single post, a photo of her standing alone in the woods near the cabin. It had been taken from a distance, and we hadn't seen anyone when she took her walk. We reported the account, blocked it, and contacted the local authorities, but nothing ever came of it. That simple family trip was meant to be a break from our routine, a few peaceful days in nature to bond and breathe. But what we got was something much darker, a story we still don't fully understand. And to this day, when we close our eyes at night, we sometimes hear the creak of the porch and wonder if someone is still watching.